Hello there, and welcome to Midnight Science. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight, because we're about to embark on a journey through one of Earth's most magnificent and mysterious landscapes, the Sahara Desert, a place of golden dunes, ancient secrets, and quiet wonders that stretch as far as the eye can see. Wherever you are right now, let this be your moment to settle in. Let the day's noise fade away. Let your shoulders drop and allow your thoughts to drift like sand on a warm wind. Tonight, we're traveling to a place that seems endless, timeless, and profoundly peaceful in its vastness. The Sahara is more than just sand and sun. It's a living archive of Earth's history, a testament to nature's patience, and home to stories that span millions of years. From singing dunes to hidden oases, from ancient rock art to creatures that thrive where nothing should survive, this desert holds mysteries that will surprise you, soothe you, and maybe even change how you see the world. Some of what you hear tonight may spark your curiosity. Other facts might simply wash over you like a gentle breeze, soft and calming, and that's perfectly fine. If this peaceful journey brings you rest or wonder, consider liking and subscribing. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. Also, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. It's always wonderful to see how these videos bring people together from all around the world. But for now, just breathe, get comfortable, close your eyes if you'd like, and let's begin this slow, soothing drip through the golden heart of the world's greatest desert. The Sahara is almost as large as the United States. When we think of deserts, we often picture a small stretch of sand, maybe a few dunes scattered across a barren landscape. But the Sahara is something else entirely. It sprawls across approximately 3.6 million square miles, making it roughly the same size as the entire United States or the continent of Australia. It's not just big, it's incomprehensibly vast. To walk from one end to the other would take months, maybe years. To cross it by camel, as travelers once did, required careful planning, courage, and a deep respect for the desert's power. Even today, with modern vehicles and GPS, the Sahara remains a place where distances feel almost abstract, where horizons stretch endlessly in every direction. The desert spans 11 countries, from Morocco and Algeria in the west to Egypt and Sudan in the east. It touches the Atlantic Ocean on one side and reaches nearly to the Red Sea on the other. And within this immense expanse lie mountains, valleys, plateaus, and seas of sand that shift and change with every passing wind. The Sahara is not just a desert, it's a world unto itself, a continent of gold and stone where silence has weight and space has texture. The Sahara was once covered in lakes and rivers. It's hard to imagine now, but beneath the sand and stone of the Sahara lies the memory of water. Thousands of years ago, this desert was green. Rivers flowed through lush valleys. Lakes shimmered under open skies. Rain fell regularly, nourishing grasslands where elephants, hippos, giraffes, and early humans thrived together. This period, known as the African Humid Period, lasted from about 11,000 to 5,000 years ago. During this time, the Sahara looked more like the savannas of East Africa today. Archaeological evidence reveals ancient lake beds, fossilized pollen from water-loving plants, and tools left behind by fishing communities who once lived along these now vanished shores. Cave paintings and rock engravings scattered across the desert show scenes of life that seem impossible in the current landscape. There are images of people swimming, boats on water, and herds of cattle grazing. These aren't fantasies, they're records. Memories carved in stone by people who lived in a very different Sahara. What happened? The Earth's orbit shifted slightly, altering the strength and path of seasonal monsoons. The rains weakened, rivers dried up, lakes evaporated, and over centuries, the green faded to gold. The transformation wasn't sudden, but gradual, a slow retreat of water and life that left behind only echoes, buried beneath the sand. Sand dunes can sing and hum in certain parts of the Sahara. If you walk across a steep dune or disturb the sand in just the right way, you might hear something unexpected. A low hum, a deep, resonant sound that seems to come from the dune itself. It's not wind, it's not an animal, it's the sand singing. This phenomenon, known as singing sand or booming dunes, occurs when grains of sand of a certain size and shape slide down the face of a dune. As they tumble, they vibrate together, creating a sound that can range from a soft hum to a deep roar. The tone depends on the size of the grains, the dryness of the sand, and the steepness of the slope. Scientists have studied these singing dunes for years, and while they understand the mechanics, there's still something almost magical about the experience. Some describe it as a cello's low note. Others say it sounds like distant thunder or a plane flying overhead. In some cultures, the sound was once thought to be the voice of spirits or jinn, invisible beings dwelling beneath the dunes. The singing doesn't happen everywhere, only in certain deserts with the right conditions. But when it does, it's a reminder that even in silence, the desert has a voice, soft, deep, and ancient. It hums beneath your feet. The Sahara is home to mountains taller than many peaks in Europe. Most people think of the Sahara as flat, an endless sea of sand stretching to the horizon. But hidden within the desert are mountain ranges that rise thousands of feet into the sky, their peaks dusted with snow in winter, their slopes carved by wind and time. The Taibesti Mountains in Chad and Libya reach heights of over 11,000 feet. The Ahaga Mountains in southern Algeria tower nearly as high, with dramatic volcanic formations and deep gorges cutting through ancient rock. These ranges are older than the Alps, weathered by eons of wind, heat, and the occasional rain. In winter, snow sometimes falls on the highest peaks, a surreal sight in one of the hottest places on Earth. The contrast is striking. White snow against red rock, cold air above burning sands. These mountains create their own microclimates, sheltering valleys where water collects and life takes hold in ways impossible elsewhere in the desert. For the people who live near these ranges, the mountains are landmarks, sources of water, and places of refuge. They break the monotony of the desert, offering shade, elevation, and a different kind of beauty. Among the dunes and plains, the Sahara also reaches for the sky. Some Saharan creatures never drink water. In a place where water is scarce, life has found remarkable ways to survive. The desert-adapted fennec fox, with its enormous ears and soft fur, gets all the moisture it needs from the food it eats. It hunts insects, lizards, and small rodents at night, and never needs to drink. The adax, a graceful antelope with spiral horns, can go its entire life without drinking water. It extracts moisture from the plants it grazes on and has evolved incredibly efficient kidneys that produce highly concentrated urine, conserving every drop. Even smaller creatures have adapted. Darkling beetles in the Namib Desert, which shares some conditions with the Sahara, collect moisture from fog on their bodies. Desert locusts metabolize their food in ways that generate water internally. Scorpions burrow deep to escape the heat and minimize water loss. These animals aren't just surviving, they're thriving in conditions that would kill most life forms within days. Their bodies are finely tuned machines, built over millennia to extract, conserve, and create water from almost nothing. In the driest corners of the Sahara, life doesn't wait for rain. It adapts, endures, and carries on. Ancient rock art covers hidden canyon walls deep within the Sahara. Far from roads or settlements lie canyons and rock shelters adorned with some of the oldest and most beautiful art on Earth. These paintings and engravings date back thousands of years, created by people who lived in the Sahara when it was green and full of life. The images are vivid and detailed. You can see herds of cattle, graceful giraffes, long-horned antelope, and elephants. There are scenes of hunting, dancing, and daily life. Some depict human figures with elaborate hairstyles or body decorations. Others show abstract symbols whose meanings remain mysterious. One of the most famous sites is the Tassili Nadja Plateau in Algeria, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where thousands of paintings span millennia. The earliest images show wildlife and hunters. Later works depict herders with domesticated animals. The art tells a story, not just of individuals, but of an entire ecosystem's transformation. These paintings aren't just historical artifacts, they're intimate. You can almost feel the presence of the artists, their hands pressing ochre and charcoal onto stone, their eyes watching the animals they painted. In the silence of these hidden canyons, their voices still whisper, not in words, but in color, shape, and memory. The Sahara grows and shrinks over time. The boundaries of the Sahara are not fixed. They shift, expand, and contract with changes in climate, rainfall, and land use. Over the past century, the desert has been growing, particularly along its southern edge where it meets the Sahel, a semi-arid region that acts as a transition zone between desert and savanna. During droughts, the Sahara can push southward, swallowing grasslands and forcing communities to migrate. During wetter periods, vegetation creeps back and the desert recedes slightly. This ebb and flow is natural to some extent, but human activity, overgrazing, deforestation, and climate change has accelerated desertification in recent decades. Satellite images show the changes clearly. In some years, the Sahara expands by thousands of square miles. In others, it holds steady, or even contracts slightly. The desert breathes, inhaling and exhaling over decades and centuries, responding to forces both natural and human. This movement is a reminder that even something as seemingly eternal as the Sahara is dynamic, alive in its own way, constantly reshaping itself in response to the world around it. Oases are lifelines in an ocean of sand. In the midst of the Sahara's vast emptiness, oases appear like miracles. These pockets of green, fed by underground aquifers or natural springs, have sustained life for thousands of years. They are where travelers rest, where communities form, and where the desert shows a gentler face. An oasis can be as small as a single palm tree and a patch of grass, or as large as a town surrounded by date palms, vegetable gardens, and flowing water. Some oases, like Siwa in Egypt or Tagat in Algeria, have supported human settlements for millennia, their histories woven into trade routes, culture, and survival. The water in an oasis often comes from fossil aquifers, ancient reserves of groundwater trapped beneath the desert for thousands of years. When this water reaches the surface, life explodes. Date palms grow tall, birds nest, insects buzz. The air smells different, humid and earthy, a stark contrast to the dry heat of the surrounding dunes. For those who live in or near oases, these places are sacred. They are sources of food, water, and identity. And for travelers crossing the Sahara, whether by camel centuries ago or by vehicle today, an oasis is more than a rest stop. It's proof that even in the harshest places, life finds a way to bloom. Sandstorms can blot out the sun. The desert can be still for days, the air clear, the sky a brilliant blue. And then, without much warning, the wind picks up. The horizon darkens, and a wall of sand rises into the sky, moving like a living thing. Saharan sandstorms, also called haboobs, can be enormous. They can stretch for hundreds of miles, rise thousands of feet into the air, and carry millions of tons of dust and sand. When one hits, visibility drops to near zero. The sun disappears. Day turns to a strange ochre twilight. These storms are powerful enough to strip paint from vehicles, sandblast windows, and bury roads. They can travel across continents, carrying Saharan dust all the way to Europe, the Caribbean, and even the Amazon rainforest, where the minerals in the dust help fertilize the soil. Inside a sandstorm, the world becomes alien. The wind howls, the air is thick and gritty. Everything takes on a sepia tone, as if the world itself has aged 100 years in minutes. For those caught in one, the best option is to stop, cover your face, and wait. The storm will pass. It always does. When the wind finally dies and the air clears, the landscape may look entirely different. Dunes shift, valleys fill, rocks once buried are exposed. The desert, in a few hours, rewrites itself. The desert floor is covered in ancient seabeds. Walk across certain parts of the Sahara, and you might notice something unexpected beneath your feet. Fossils, seashells, the remains of marine life that lived millions of years ago when much of the Sahara was underwater. During the Cretaceous period, roughly 100 million years ago, the region that is now the Sahara was covered by a shallow tropical sea. Marine reptiles, fish, and ammonites thrived in warm waters. Over time, these creatures died, and their remains settled on the seafloor, layer by layer, eventually turning to stone. When the sea receded and the land rose, these fossils were left behind, buried under sediment. Wind and erosion have since exposed them. In some places, you can find ancient shark teeth, fossilized shells, and even the bones of long extinct sea creatures lying on the surface, baking in the sun. It's a strange and humbling sight to stand on hot sand, surrounded by dunes, and hold a piece of the ocean in your hand. A reminder that this desert, so dry and lifeless in appearance, was once teeming with water and life. The Sahara is not just old, it's layered, a palimpsest of worlds that came before. Night in the Sahara is breathtakingly cold. During the day, temperatures in the Sahara can soar to 120 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. The sun beats down relentlessly. The sand radiates heat. The air shimmers. But when the sun sets, everything changes. Without cloud cover or moisture to trap heat, the desert cools rapidly. Temperatures can drop by 40 or 50 degrees in just a few hours. In winter, nighttime temperatures can fall below freezing. especially in higher elevations or northern regions. The contrast is startling. You can go from blistering heat to shivering cold in the span of an evening. Travelers who underestimate this swing often find themselves unprepared, wrapped in blankets under a sky ablaze with stars. The cold is sharp and dry, biting at exposed skin, but it also brings relief, a break from the relentless sun, a chance for nocturnal creatures to emerge and for the desert to exhale. In the stillness of a Saharan night, the world feels new, clean, and impossibly vast. The Sahara's night sky is among the clearest on Earth. On a moonless night in the Sahara, far from any city or town, the sky transforms into something almost otherworldly. With no light pollution, no moisture, and no haze, the stars appear in overwhelming numbers. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a river of light, bright enough to cast shadows. You can see planets with the naked eye. Meteor showers unfold in brilliant detail. Satellites drift slowly across the black. Constellations that seem faint elsewhere blaze with clarity. The depth of the sky seems infinite, as if you could fall upward into it. For ancient travelers, this sky was a map. They navigated by the stars, using familiar patterns to guide them across featureless terrain. The stars were constant, reliable, a source of direction and comfort in the vastness. Even today, standing beneath the Sahara's night sky is a profound experience. It reminds you how small you are, how vast the universe is, and how much beauty exists in the quiet dark. The desert, so harsh by day, becomes a cathedral at night, a place of silence and wonder. Some dunes are over 500 feet tall. The dunes of the Sahara come in many forms. Some are small, rippling waves of sand. Others are vast, towering structures that dwarf anything around them. In regions like the Erg-Chech or Erg-Chigaga, individual dunes can rise over 500 feet from base to crest, taller than most buildings. Climbing one of these giants is an experience in itself. Each step sinks into soft sand. Progress is slow. The slope seems endless. But when you finally reach the top, breathless and sun-warmed, the view is worth it. From the crest, you can see dune after dune, stretching to the horizon in waves of gold and amber. These massive dunes are shaped by wind over centuries. They shift slowly, sometimes just a few feet per year, creeping across the desert like slow-motion waves frozen in sand. They're not static. They're alive in their own way, constantly reshaped by forces invisible to the eye. Standing on the ridge of a giant dune, feeling the wind tug at your clothes, looking out over an endless sea of sand, it's easy to understand why the Sahara has fascinated people for millennia. It's beautiful, it's terrifying, and it's utterly humbling. The desert holds vast underground water reserves. Beneath the dry surface of the Sahara lies an astonishing secret: water. Vast amounts of it, hidden in ancient aquifers deep underground. These reserves, known as fossil water, were trapped there thousands or even millions of years ago when the climate was wetter. The Nubian sandstone aquifer system, one of the largest in the world, stretches beneath parts of Egypt, Libya, Chad, and Sudan. It contains an estimated 150,000 cubic kilometers of water, enough to fill Lake Superior several times over. This water is ancient, some of it dating back to the last ice age or earlier. For centuries, desert communities have tapped into these reserves using wells, some dug by hand, others drilled with modern technology. The water is a lifeline, making agriculture, settlement, and survival possible in places where rain almost never falls. But fossil water is not renewable, at least not on human timescales. Once it's pumped out, it takes thousands of years to replenish, if it replenishes at all. As populations grow and demand increases, managing this hidden resource has become increasingly important. The water is there, deep and silent, but it is not infinite. Saharan dust feeds the Amazon rainforest every year. Massive dust storms lift millions of tons of sand and dust from the Sahara into the atmosphere. Winds carry this dust westward across the Atlantic Ocean, where it eventually settles over Central and South America, including the Amazon rainforest. This dust is more than just particles. It's packed with nutrients, especially phosphorus, a mineral essential for plant growth. The Amazon soils are often poor in phosphorus, leached away by heavy rains, but the Saharan dust replenishes it, delivering a steady supply of nutrients that help sustain the rainforest's incredible biodiversity. It's a remarkable connection between two of Earth's most iconic landscapes. The world's largest desert feeding the world's largest rainforest, thousands of miles apart, linked by wind and dust. Satellite images capture the journey, showing vast plumes of ochre dust drifting over the deep blue Atlantic. The process is ancient and ongoing, a quiet exchange that has shaped ecosystems for millennia. The Sahara, far from being isolated, is part of a global system, its sands nourishing life halfway around the world. Some Saharan lakes appear and disappear with the seasons. In the driest parts of the Sahara, water is rare, but in certain basins and low-lying areas, seasonal lakes, called plateaus or chots, appear after rare rains. These lakes are shallow, often just a few inches deep, and they don't last long. When water does arrive, it transforms the landscape. Dry, cracked earth becomes a shimmering mirror. Birds arrive in flocks, drawn by the sudden abundance. Plants sprout seemingly overnight. Seeds that have lain dormant for years finally given the chance to grow. For a brief time, the desert blooms. But as the sun returns and temperatures rise, the water evaporates quickly. Within days or weeks, the lake is gone, leaving behind only a crust of salt and dried mud. The cycle then pauses, sometimes for years, until the next rain. These ephemeral lakes are fragile, beautiful, and fleeting. They remind us that even in the harshest environments, life is patient. It waits for the right moment, seizes it, and then retreats, ready to wait again. The Sahara is expanding due to climate change. For decades, scientists have observed that the Sahara is growing, particularly along its southern edge. Between 1920 and 2013, the desert expanded by about 10%, an area roughly the size of South Dakota. While natural climate cycles play a role, human-induced climate change is accelerating the process. Rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and shifts in atmospheric circulation are all contributing factors. The Sahel, a fragile transition zone between desert and grassland, is especially vulnerable. As rainfall decreases and temperatures rise, vegetation dies off, soils degrade, and the desert creeps forward. This expansion has profound consequences for millions of people. Farmland becomes unusable. Water sources dry up. Communities are forced to migrate, sometimes sparking conflict over remaining resources. Desertification isn't just an environmental issue, it's a humanitarian one. Efforts to combat this expansion include planting trees, restoring degraded land, and improving water management. Projects like the Great Green Wall, an ambitious initiative to plant a belt of vegetation across Africa, aim to slow or even reverse desertification. But the challenge is immense, and the desert, patient and relentless, continues to grow. Trade routes once crisscrossed the Sahara like highways long before modern roads or air travel. The Sahara was far from empty. It was a crossroads. For centuries, vast caravans of camels traversed the desert, carrying goods, ideas, and culture between sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, and the Mediterranean world. These trans-Saharan trade routes were lifelines. Salt, mined in the northern desert, was worth its weight in gold in the south. Gold, ivory, and enslaved people moved north. Spices, textiles, and knowledge traveled in all directions. Cities like Timbuktu, Gao, and Agadez thrived as hubs of commerce and learning. Crossing the Sahara was dangerous. Travelers faced extreme heat, sandstorms, bandits, and the constant threat of running out of water. Caravans could number in the thousands, camels and people moving together for safety. Guides, often from nomadic tribes who knew the desert intimately, were essential. These routes shaped history. They spread Islam across Africa. They connected distant civilizations. They created wealth and cultural exchange on a massive scale. And though most of these routes are no longer used, traces remain: ancient wells, worn paths, and stories passed down through generations. The Sahara contains entire ghost towns swallowed by sand. Scattered across the Sahara are the remains of settlements abandoned to the desert. Some were once thriving towns, others small outposts or trading stations. Over time, as water sources dried up, trade routes shifted, or populations moved on. These places were left empty, and the sand, patient and relentless, moved in. In some cases, entire buildings are buried, visible only as faint mounds or exposed walls jutting from dunes. In others, structures remain partially intact. Doorways half filled with sand, roofs caved in, streets erased. Walking through these ghost towns feels like stepping into a forgotten world, silent and still, where time has stopped. One famous example is the ancient city of Tagaza in Mali, once a major salt mining center. Today, much of it lies beneath the sand, its history remembered only in written accounts and archaeological traces. There are countless others, some known, many likely still undiscovered, buried beneath the ever-shifting dunes. These ghost towns are reminders of the desert's power. It gives and it takes away. It allows life to flourish for a time, and then, slowly, inevitably, it reclaims what was built. Some desert plants can survive years without rain, in a place where rainfall is measured not in inches, but in decades. Plants have evolved extraordinary survival strategies. The desert rose, a succulent with a swollen trunk, stores water for months or even years. The acacia tree, with roots that can reach over 100 feet deep, taps into underground water sources far below the surface. Other plants lie dormant as seeds, waiting. Some seeds can remain viable for decades, buried in the sand, until a rare rainstorm triggers germination. When rain finally comes, the desert explodes with color. Flowers bloom seemingly overnight. Grasses sprout. The landscape, barren just days before, suddenly teems with life. But the window is brief. Plants must grow, flower, and produce seeds quickly before the water disappears. Some complete their entire life cycle in just a few weeks. It's a race against time, a biological sprint in slow motion. These plants don't just survive the desert, they define it. They anchor the sand, provide food and shelter for animals, and add unexpected beauty to a landscape often seen as lifeless. In their patience and resilience, they embody the desert's quiet strength. The Sahara's sand is not all the same color. When most people imagine the Sahara, they picture golden sand glowing under a brilliant sun. And while much of the desert does fit this image, the reality is far more varied. Sand in the Sahara comes in shades of gold, amber, red, white, and even black, each color telling a story about the rock from which it came. Red and orange sands get their color from iron oxide, essentially rust, coating the grains. These hues are common in regions where ancient iron-rich rocks have weathered over millennia. White sands, made of quartz or gypsum, appear in areas with different geological histories, gleaming almost silver under the sun. In volcanic regions, like parts of the Tibesti Mountains, you can find black sand, born from basalt and other dark rocks. These areas look almost alien, a stark contrast to the golden dunes most people associate with the desert. The color of the sand affects more than just aesthetics. Darker sands absorb more heat, making them hotter to walk on. Lighter sands reflect more sunlight and can be almost blinding in the midday sun. Each hue adds texture and depth to the desert's visual tapestry, a reminder that even sand, often thought of as uniform, is wonderfully diverse. Nomadic tribes have thrived here for millennia. The Sahara is often described as uninhabitable, but this is only true for those unprepared. For thousands of years, nomadic peoples, the Tuareg, Bedouin, Tubu, and others, have not just survived in the desert, they've thrived. These tribes developed deep knowledge of the land. They knew where to find water, how to read the stars, how to navigate by the shape of dunes and the direction of winds. They raised camels, goats, and sheep, moving seasonally to follow sparse grazing and water sources. Their cultures are rich and complex. The Tuareg, often called the Blue People because of the indigo dyes in their clothing, are known for their striking veils, music, and poetry. They maintained trade networks, mediated conflicts, and held vast knowledge of desert ecology passed down through generations. Life in the desert required adaptation. Clothing protected against sun and sandstorms. Tents were designed to withstand wind. Water was conserved carefully. Communities were tight-knit, bound by kinship and shared survival. Today, many of these nomadic ways of life are under pressure from modernization, political borders, and climate change. But the knowledge, traditions, and resilience of these peoples remain a testament to human adaptability. The Sahara is not empty, it's home. Mirages are real optical phenomena, not hallucinations. Anyone who has spent time in the Sahara has likely seen them, shimmering pools of water on the horizon that vanish as you approach. These are mirages, and they're not illusions of a dehydrated mind. They're real, physical phenomena caused by the way light bends through layers of air at different temperatures. On a hot day, the ground heats the air directly above it. This creates a temperature gradient, with hotter air near the surface and cooler air above. Light traveling through these layers bends, refracting in a way that makes it look like the sky or distant objects are reflected on the ground, just like a mirror. To a thirsty traveler, this shimmering reflection can look exactly like water, sparkling and inviting. But as you get closer, the mirage shifts, always staying just out of reach. It's not water, it's sky, reflected by physics. Mirages can be beautiful, haunting, and frustrating. They've disoriented countless travelers, offering false hope in a landscape where hope is precious. But they're also a reminder of the desert's ability to bend reality, to play with perception, to make you question what you see. The Sahara is home to meteor craters and ancient impact sites. The Sahara's vast, open terrain and low erosion rates make it an excellent place to find evidence of cosmic impacts. Scattered across the desert are meteor craters, some small and recent, others massive and ancient, worn smooth by time but still visible from above. One of the most striking is the Kibera crater, located on the border between Egypt and Libya. Measuring about 19 miles across, it's one of the largest impact craters on Earth, formed by a meteorite strike millions of years ago. For a long time, it went unnoticed, hidden in the featureless expanse of the desert. It was only identified through satellite imagery. Other craters, like the smaller but better preserved Camille crater, are more recent. This one was formed just a few thousand years ago and still has fragments of the iron meteorites scattered around it. Visiting these sites is like stepping into a moment frozen in time, a violent collision between Earth and space, preserved in stone and sand. The desert, empty and ancient, is also a record keeper. It holds stories written not just by wind and water, but by fire from the sky. The Sahara shifts and moves constantly. The dunes of the Sahara are not static. They're constantly in motion, shaped and reshaped by wind. Sand grains are picked up on one side of a dune, carried up and over the crest, and deposited on the other side. Slowly, grain by grain, the dune migrates. The speed of this movement varies. Some dunes move just a few feet per year. Others, in areas with strong, consistent winds, can travel dozens of feet annually. Over decades and centuries, entire landscapes are transformed. Valleys are filled. Rock formations are buried. Old dunes disappear and new ones form. This constant movement can be a challenge for those living near the desert. Roads can be buried overnight. Wells can be swallowed by advancing dunes. Structures must be built with the desert's motion in mind, or they risk being lost. But there's also beauty in this impermanence. The desert is never the same twice. Patterns in the sand shift daily. Shadows change with the angle of the sun. Every visit to the Sahara reveals a new face, a landscape sculpted by forces that never rest. Fossils of ancient crocodiles have been found deep in the desert walk through certain parts of the Sahara, and you might stumble upon something unexpected, the fossilized skull of a crocodile, half buried in sand and stone. These remains, along with those of other water-dwelling creatures, are evidence that the Sahara was once a very different place. During wetter periods in the past, including the African humid period, rivers and lakes covered much of what is now desert. Crocodiles thrived in these waters, hunting fish and basking on muddy banks. Hippos wallowed in the shallows. Turtles nested on sandy shores. When the climate changed and the water dried up, these animals disappeared, but their bones remained, slowly fossilizing over thousands of years. Now, exposed by erosion, they lie scattered across the desert, silent witnesses to a time when the Sahara teemed with life. These fossils are more than curiosities. They're pieces of a puzzle, helping scientists understand how Earth's climate has shifted and how life responds to change. The desert, so barren now, was once lush and wet, and who knows? It may be again one day, The color of the sky can change during sandstorms. When a massive sandstorm sweeps across the Sahara, it doesn't just block the sun, it changes the entire atmosphere. The sky, normally a clear, deep blue, takes on an eerie, otherworldly glow. Depending on the density and composition of the dust, the sky can turn shades of yellow, orange, red, or even brown. Light filters through the suspended particles, scattering in strange and beautiful ways. Sunlight becomes diffused, casting an amber tint over everything, as if the world has been dipped in sepia. In the thickest storms, the sky can become so dark it feels like twilight, even in the middle of the day. Shadows disappear. Depth perception becomes difficult. The world flattens into shades of ochre and rust. For those experiencing it, the effect is disorienting but also strangely mesmerizing. The familiar sky is replaced by something alien, a reminder of the desert's power to reshape not just land, but light itself. Ancient underground cities provided refuge from the heat. In some parts of the Sahara and its surrounding regions, people didn't just build on the surface. They built down, carving homes, storage rooms, and even entire communities into the rock and earth beneath the desert. These underground dwellings, found in places like southern Tunisia and Libya, offered protection from the brutal heat. While surface temperatures soared, the subterranean rooms remained cool, sometimes as much as 30 or 40 degrees cooler. The stone and earth acted as natural insulation, maintaining a comfortable environment year-round. Some of these structures are still inhabited today, passed down through generations. Others have been abandoned, their tunnels and chambers now silent, filled only with echoes and the occasional curious visitor. Walking through them feels like stepping into another time, a world built not around the sun, but away from it. These underground cities are marvels of adaptation. They show that even in the harshest environments, humans find ways not just to survive, but to build, to settle, and to create homes. The Sahara holds secrets that have yet to be discovered. Despite centuries of exploration, the Sahara remains one of the least understood places on Earth. Its vastness, remoteness, and harsh conditions mean that large areas have never been thoroughly surveyed. And beneath its surface, hidden by sand and time, countless secrets likely remain. Archaeological sites are still being found. Fossilized remains of unknown species, ancient tools and artifacts, even entire settlements buried and forgotten. Every few years, a new discovery emerges, reshaping what we thought we knew about the desert's past. Some researchers believe there may be undiscovered mineral deposits, valuable resources hidden beneath layers of sand and rock. Others search for meteorites, knowing that the desert's dry conditions preserve them better than almost anywhere else on Earth. Still others look for clues about ancient climate patterns, hoping to better understand how Earth systems work. The Sahara is a place of mysteries. Some have been solved, many have not. And in its endless expanse, there's a sense that no matter how much we learn, there will always be more waiting to be found. The desert keeps its secrets well, revealing them only slowly, one grain of sand at a time. Sandstorms can carry diseases across continents. The dust that rises from the Sahara doesn't just carry minerals and sand. Sometimes it carries life, microscopic passengers riding the wind across thousands of miles. Bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms can survive the journey through the atmosphere, protected within dust particles. Some of these organisms are harmless. others can cause problems. Scientists have linked certain respiratory illnesses in the Caribbean and parts of the Americas to pathogens carried in Saharan dust. Fungal spores that thrive in arid conditions can trigger allergic reactions or infections in people who've never been anywhere near the desert. This long-distance transport of microbes is a reminder of how interconnected our world is. The air we breathe in one place may have traveled halfway around the planet. The dust settling on your car after a strange, hazy day might have begun its journey in Africa, carrying with it microscopic stories from another continent. It's not all negative, though. Some of the microbes and nutrients in the dust help ecosystems far from their source. The same dust that feeds the Amazon also deposits trace elements into ocean waters, supporting marine life. The desert, even in its smallest particles, reaches across the world. The desert is surprisingly rich in biodiversity. At first glance, the Sahara seems lifeless. But look closer, and you'll find a surprising diversity of plants, animals, and insects, all adapted to survive in one of Earth's harshest environments. Over 70 species of mammals live in the Sahara, from tiny rodents to the endangered Saharan cheetah and addax antelope. Hundreds of bird species either live in or migrate through the desert. Reptiles, including monitor lizards, vipers, and desert tortoises, thrive in the heat. Insects, especially beetles and ants, are everywhere, playing crucial roles in the ecosystem. Even plant life is more diverse than expected. There are over 500 species of plants adapted to desert conditions. Some have deep roots. Others store water in thick stems or leaves. Many lie dormant for years, waiting for rain. This biodiversity is fragile. Many species exist in small, isolated populations, vulnerable to climate change, habitat loss, and human activity. The Sahara may seem vast and empty, but its ecosystems are delicate, finely balanced systems where every organism plays a role. Life in the desert is sparse, but it is not absent. It's there, quiet and resilient, woven into the sand, the rock, and the rare pockets of water. Lightning can strike in the Sahara, even without rain. Thunderstorms in the Sahara are rare, but when they do occur, they can be spectacular and strange. Sometimes lightning flashes across the sky, even when no rain reaches the ground. This phenomenon, known as dry lightning, happens when rain evaporates in the hot, dry air before it can fall. The lightning itself is still real, crackling between clouds or striking the ground. But without rain to accompany it, the experience feels surreal. The sky lights up, thunder rolls across the desert, and yet the ground remains dry, the air still hot and dusty. Dry lightning can be dangerous. In areas with any vegetation, it can spark wildfires. Even in the barren parts of the desert, the sudden electrical discharge can be a hazard to anyone caught in the open. These storms are brief and unpredictable, appearing suddenly and vanishing just as quickly. They add another layer to the desert's character, a reminder that even in a place defined by dryness, the sky still holds power. The Sahara's extreme conditions test the limits of technology. The Sahara has always been a proving ground, not just for people, but for machines. The extreme heat, abrasive sand, and vast distances challenge vehicles, equipment, and technology in ways few other environments can. Cars and trucks that work perfectly elsewhere can overheat within hours in the Sahara. Sandstorms can clog air filters, scratch windshields, and strip paint. electronics can fail in the heat. Navigation systems lose signal in remote areas. Even the toughest equipment requires constant maintenance and adaptation. For researchers, engineers, and adventurers, the desert is both a challenge and a teacher. Vehicles must be specially prepared, extra water, spare parts, reinforced cooling systems. Routes must be planned carefully. Communication equipment must be reliable. There's no room for error. But the desert also inspires innovation. Solar panels, developed and tested in harsh desert conditions, have improved efficiency. Satellite navigation has been refined through use in featureless terrain. Materials science has advanced by studying what survives and what fails in the Sahara's extreme environment. The desert doesn't forgive mistakes, but it rewards those who respect it, learn from it, and adapt. Some of the world's hottest temperatures have been recorded here. The Sahara holds some of the most extreme temperature records on Earth. In 1922, a weather station in Libya recorded a temperature of 136 degrees Fahrenheit, long considered the hottest temperature ever reliably measured. Though this record has since been disputed and officially vacated due to questions about the measurement methods, there's no doubt the Sahara regularly experiences temperatures that would be unbearable to most life. During summer, ground temperatures can exceed 170 degrees Fahrenheit. The sand becomes too hot to walk on barefoot. Metal objects left in the sun can cause burns. The air shimmers and distorts, making distant objects seem to float and waver. These extreme temperatures are the result of several factors: intense solar radiation, lack of cloud cover, low humidity, and the sand's ability to absorb and radiate heat. The desert becomes a vast open oven, baking under an unforgiving sun. And yet, life persists. Animals burrow underground during the hottest hours. Plants close their pores to conserve moisture. Humans seek shade and wait for the cooler evening. The heat is brutal, but it's also predictable. And in the desert, predictability means survival. The silence in the Sahara can be overwhelming. In our modern world, true silence is rare. There's always background noise, traffic, voices, the hum of electronics. But in the deep desert, far from civilization, silence takes on a physical presence. It's not just the absence of sound. It's a depth of quiet that feels almost tangible. No birds call, no insects buzz. No wind rustles through leaves because there are no leaves, just stillness, vast and complete. Some people find this silence peaceful, meditative. Others find it unsettling, even oppressive. The human brain, accustomed to constant stimulation, can struggle with such emptiness. Some report hearing phantom sounds, the mind filling in the void with echoes of memory. But there's also beauty in this silence. It allows you to hear things normally masked by noise, your own heartbeat, your breathing, the soft crunch of sand under your feet. It creates space for thought, for reflection, for a kind of clarity that's hard to find elsewhere. In the silence of the Sahara, the world strips away its distractions. What remains is just you, the earth, and the quiet hum of existence itself. Stars and sand create perfect symmetry. There's a particular moment in the Sahara, just after sunset, when the sky begins to deepen and the first stars appear, when earth and sky seem to mirror each other. The sand, still warm from the day, glows softly in the fading light. Above, stars begin to emerge, scattered across the darkening blue. As night falls completely, the symmetry becomes even more striking. The desert floor, vast and textured, stretches endlessly in all directions. Above, the cosmos spreads equally endless, equally textured with light. Standing between them, you become the point of connection, small and temporary, but present. The stars reflected in wind-rippled sand can create patterns that echo the heavens. Dunes curve like galactic spirals. The Milky Way arcs overhead like a river of light, while below, shadows and highlights create their own flowing patterns. Photographers and travelers often speak of this moment as transcendent. The boundary between earth and sky blurs. The desert becomes a place not just of survival or challenge, but of beauty so profound it feels almost spiritual. In this perfect symmetry, the Sahara reveals itself not as harsh or barren, but as a canvas where nature paints with light and shadow, sand and stars. The desert teaches patience and respect. The Sahara is not a place that yields easily to human will. It cannot be conquered, controlled, or rushed. Those who try often pay dearly for their hubris, but those who approach it with humility, patience, and respect find that it can be navigated, even appreciated. Desert peoples have always understood this. They move with the rhythms of the land, not against them. They wait out storms rather than fight through them. They conserve resources carefully, knowing that waste can mean death. They read the landscape, learning its moods and patterns over years and generations. Travelers who embrace this mindset find that the desert opens up to them, not in grand gestures, but in small revelations. A hidden well, a sheltered camping spot, the subtle shift in the wind that signals a change in weather. The desert rewards attention, patience, and a willingness to learn. There's a lesson here that extends beyond the sands. In a world that prizes speed and control, the Sahara reminds us that some things cannot be hurried. Some challenges require not force, but understanding. Some journeys demand not conquest, but partnership with the land itself. Ancient trade goods still surface in the sand. Occasionally, travelers, archaeologists, or local people stumbling across the Sahara find objects that seem out of place. A piece of pottery, a metal coin, a carved bead. These artifacts, sometimes centuries old, are remnants of the vast trade networks that once crisscrossed the desert. The shifting sands both bury and reveal. What was hidden for decades might suddenly appear after a sandstorm. What sat exposed for years might vanish beneath a moving dune overnight. The desert is a slow-motion archaeologist, constantly excavating and reburying its own history. Some of these finds are valuable, rare coins or precious items lost by ancient caravans. Others are more mundane but no less fascinating. Fragments of everyday life, tools, buttons, pieces of leather or cloth preserved by the dry conditions. Each object tells a story. Someone carried it across the desert. Someone valued it enough to bring it on a long, dangerous journey. And then somehow it was lost, dropped, discarded, or left behind when disaster struck. Now it emerges again, a small voice from the past, speaking to the present. The Sahara is a place of constant transformation. If there's one truth about the Sahara, it's that nothing stays the same. The landscape shifts, the climate fluctuates, life adapts or disappears. Even the desert's boundaries expand and contract with time. This transformation happens on multiple scales. Moment to moment, the light changes, painting the dunes in different shades. Day to day, the wind reshapes the sand. Year to year, rainfall patterns shift, and vegetation responds. Over centuries and millennia, the desert itself has transformed from sea to savanna to sand and back again. This constant change makes the Sahara both frustrating and fascinating. It resists mapping, resists taming, resists permanence. What was here yesterday may be gone tomorrow. What seems eternal is actually just a pause in an endless dance of transformation. But perhaps that's the desert's greatest lesson. That change is the only constant. That nothing, not even the seemingly eternal sand, lasts forever in one form. The desert flows like water, just much, much slower. And in that flow, there's a kind of peace. Each grain of sand has traveled its own journey. Look closely at sand from the Sahara, really closely, and you'll see that it's not uniform. Each grain is slightly different in size, shape, and color. Some are sharp and angular, freshly broken from rock. Others are smooth and rounded, polished by countless collisions over thousands of years. Each grain has its own history. It might have started as part of a mountain range, broken free by weathering and erosion. It might have traveled down a river that no longer exists, being carried by ancient winds, settled in a lakebed, been buried, exposed, and moved again. Some grains in the Sahara may have traveled thousands of miles from their source rock. Others might have moved only a few yards. Some are millions of years old. Others are relatively young, geologically speaking. Together, these countless individual journeys create the landscape we call the Sahara. The dunes, the plains, the vast seas of sand, all are collections of individual stories, individual particles, each with its own path through time. It's humbling to think about. To hold a handful of sand is to hold millions of tiny histories, each grain a traveler, each one still moving, still journeying, still being shaped by wind and time. The desert holds a strange and peaceful beauty. There's something about the Sahara that defies easy description. It's not beautiful in the way a forest or ocean is beautiful. There are no lush greens, no crashing waves. The palette is limited. Golds, ambers, browns, the occasional splash of blue sky. And yet, there's beauty here. It's in the simplicity, the clean lines of a dune's ridge, the play of light and shadow, the vast emptiness that somehow feels full rather than lacking. It's in the way the landscape seems to breathe, expanding and contracting with the heat of day and cool of night. The beauty of the desert is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It simply exists, patient and ancient, waiting for those who take the time to see it. For some, this beauty is immediate and overwhelming. For others, it reveals itself slowly, growing on you like the gradual appreciation of a piece of minimalist art. But once you see it, it's hard to forget. The desert gets into your bones, your memory, your dreams. It's a harsh place, yes, unforgiving and dangerous, but it's also achingly beautiful in its own stark, honest way. The Sahara reminds us how small we are. Standing in the Sahara, surrounded by sand in every direction, the horizon impossibly distant, the sky impossibly vast, you're confronted with a truth that's easy to forget in daily life. You are small, not insignificant, but small, a tiny piece of a much larger whole. The desert doesn't care about your plans, your worries, your achievements. It simply exists, vast and indifferent, shaped by forces that dwarf human concerns. This realization can be frightening, but it can also be liberating. Your problems, however large they seem, are temporary. Your time here is brief. The desert was here long before you and will remain long after you're gone. There's comfort in this perspective, a release from the burden of trying to control everything, fix everything, understand everything. Sometimes it's enough to simply be, to exist in the moment, to let the vastness wash over you and remind you that you're part of something much bigger. The Sahara offers this gift freely. It asks nothing in return except respect. And in its endless expanse, beneath its infinite sky, you can find a kind of peace that's rare in our crowded, noisy world. The desert's colors shift with every hour. If you've ever watched a Sahara sunset, you know that the desert doesn't settle for just one color palette. Throughout the day, as the sun traces its arc across the sky, the entire landscape transforms in hue and mood, as if the desert itself is breathing in light and exhaling it in different shades. Morning begins with pale blues and soft golds. The sand is cool, almost grey in the pre-dawn light. Then, as the sun crests the horizon, everything ignites. The dunes glow amber, then orange, then a deep, warm gold that seems to radiate from within. Midday bleaches the colors. Under the harsh overhead sun, everything becomes washed out, almost white. The sand reflects light so intensely it hurts to look at without squinting. Shadows disappear. Depth flattens. The world becomes two-dimensional, a study in brightness and heat. But then comes afternoon, and the colors begin to deepen again. The sun lowers, casting longer shadows that paint the dunes in stripes of gold and purple. The contrast grows sharper, more dramatic. Every ripple in the sand becomes visible, every texture highlighted. Sunset is when the desert truly performs. The sky erupts in oranges, pinks, and purples. The sand seems to catch fire, glowing in impossible shades of red and amber. For perhaps 30 minutes, the world is painted in colors that don't seem quite real, almost too beautiful to believe. And then night falls, and the colors shift again to deep blues and blacks, punctuated by silver starlight. The desert becomes monochrome, a study in shadow and subtle gradation. It's the same landscape, and yet it's entirely different. The desert, patient showman that it is, never repeats the same performance twice. Ancient aquifers connect distant oases. Beneath the surface of the Sahara lies a hidden network, a labyrinth of underground channels and water-bearing rock formations that connect oases separated by hundreds of miles of sand. These aquifer systems are ancient, formed over millennia, and they represent the desert's secret circulatory system. Water that falls as rain in distant mountains can travel underground for decades or even centuries before emerging at an oasis. The journey is slow, measured in geological time rather than human time. The water filters through layers of rock and sand, picking up minerals, cooling in the darkness, moving according to gravity and pressure. For the people living in oases, this underground water is life itself. Wells tap into these aquifers, drawing up water that may have begun its journey when their great-grandparents were young. Some traditional wells are dug by hand, requiring immense labor and knowledge passed down through generations about where water might be found. The aquifer systems also create unexpected connections between communities. Two oases that seem completely isolated on the surface might share the same underground water source. This connection has shaped trade, politics, and culture for thousands of years. Water rights and well maintenance have been causes for both cooperation and conflict. But these systems are fragile. Overpumping in one area can affect water availability hundreds of miles away. Modern drilling technology has made it easier to extract water, but also easier to deplete these ancient reserves faster than they can replenish. The aquifers are like the desert's memory of water, holding on to what fell from the sky long ago, sharing it slowly, carefully, with life that knows how to wait. Salt formations create sculptures in the sand, in certain basins and low-lying areas of the Sahara, where ancient seas once existed, or where seasonal lakes have evaporated countless times. The ground is covered in salt, not just flat crusts, but elaborate formations, sculptures created by the slow crystallization of minerals left behind when water disappears. These salt structures can take many forms. Some rise like small towers or mushrooms, created when salt crystallizes around a small nucleus, growing upward layer by layer. Others form delicate plates or sheets that crack and curl as they dry, creating patterns that look almost like fossilized flowers. In places like the Chott El Djerid in Tunisia, or the salt pans scattered across the Sahara, these formations create landscapes that look otherworldly. Walking through them feels like walking on another planet. The ground crunches and crackles. Salt crystals glitter in the sun like scattered diamonds. The air tastes mineral and sharp. Some of these formations are pure white, almost blinding in bright sun. Others are tinted with colors from different minerals, pinks, oranges, even blues and greens. When water briefly returns during rare rains, the salt dissolves and reforms, creating new sculptures, new patterns. These salt landscapes are hostile to most life. Few plants can tolerate such high salinity. Animals avoid them. But in their harshness, there's a strange beauty. Nature, working with the simplest materials, water, minerals, time, creates art that no human hand could replicate. The desert preserves sounds in unexpected ways. Sound behaves strangely in the Sahara. The dry air, the lack of vegetation, and the unique acoustic properties of sand and rock create an environment where sounds can travel in unexpected ways or disappear entirely. In the deep silence of the desert, a whisper can carry surprisingly far. Without the ambient noise that normally masks quiet sounds, voices can sometimes be heard from distances that would be impossible in other environments. Desert peoples learn to use this, developing calls and signals that could communicate across vast spaces. But sound can also vanish. Shout into certain dunes, and your voice is absorbed, muffled by the sand as if swallowed by a cushion. The dunes act as sound dampeners, breaking up sound waves, preventing echoes. It's disconcerting, unnatural. Your voice falls flat, dead, with no resonance. In rocky areas, the opposite can happen. Canyons and stone formations create echoes that bounce and amplify. A single sound can reverberate for seconds, multiplying and distorting. Some desert canyons are known for their acoustic properties, where specific spots create perfect amplification or strange warping of sound. Wind adds another layer. A gentle breeze makes almost no sound in the desert. There are no leaves to rustle, but a strong wind can create a constant low roar as it pushes sand and dust. During sandstorms, the sound can be deafening, a howling that seems to come from everywhere at once. The desert teaches you to listen differently. In the silence, every sound matters. Every whisper of wind, every distant animal call, every shift of sand carries information for those who know how to hear it. Some desert beetles collect water from fog. In the coldest part of a Sahara night, when temperatures drop dramatically, moisture in the air sometimes condenses into a thin mist or fog. It's not much, barely visible, and it disappears quickly when the sun returns. But for some desert creatures, this brief moisture is a vital water source. Certain beetles have evolved remarkable strategies to harvest this fog. The Namib desert beetle, though not from the Sahara, has relatives and ecological equivalents in various desert regions. These beetles climb to the tops of dunes in the early morning and position themselves in a specific way, tilting their bodies to catch the fog. Their wing covers are covered in microscopic bumps and grooves designed to capture water droplets. Hydrophilic bumps attract water, while hydrophobic channels between them repel it, causing droplets to roll down toward the beetle's mouth. It's a feat of biological engineering, a natural water collection system that works without moving parts or energy input. The beetle simply stands there patient and still as tiny droplets accumulate. When enough water has gathered, it drinks. This might happen only once or twice a week, but it's enough. In a place where water is the most precious resource, the ability to collect moisture from air is literally life-saving. This strategy has inspired human engineering. Researchers studying these beetles have developed fog harvesting nets and materials that could help provide water in arid regions. Nature, as always, was the first inventor. Humans are simply learning to read the blueprints that evolution wrote. The texture of sand tells stories. Pick up a handful of sand from different parts of the Sahara, and you'll notice something interesting. They feel different. The texture varies from place to place. Fine and soft like powder in some areas, coarser and grittier in others. This texture is information. It tells you about the sand's source, how far it has traveled, and what it has been through. Fine, smooth sand has been weathered longer, carried farther, tumbled and ground down by countless collisions, until the grains become tiny and round. Coarse sand is younger or hasn't traveled as far. The grains are more angular, less polished. They might have broken off from bedrock relatively recently, or been created by the grinding of larger rocks by wind and temperature changes. They scratch when rubbed between your fingers, where finer sand flows like silk. The size of sand grains also affects how dunes form. Fine sand creates smooth, flowing dunes with gentle slopes. Coarser sand makes steeper, more angular formations. Wind sorts sand by size, leaving different textures in different areas, creating patterns visible from space. Geologists can tell you stories by examining sand, where it came from, how it moved, how long it's been traveling. Each grain carries its history in its shape, its surface texture, its composition. The desert story is written not just in its grand formations, but in its smallest components. Running your fingers through Saharan sand is like touching time itself. Each grain a fragment of something larger that broke down. Each grain on a journey that may have lasted millions of years and isn't over yet. Ancient underground chambers hold cool air. In parts of the Sahara, there exist natural underground spaces, caverns and chambers carved by water in a wetter past or created by geological processes over millennia. These spaces maintain temperatures far cooler than the surface, providing natural refuge from the brutal heat. Some caves stay near 70 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, even when surface temperatures exceed 120. This stability comes from the insulating properties of rock and earth. Deep underground, daily temperature swings don't reach. The stone absorbs and releases heat so slowly that temperatures remain constant. Desert peoples discovered and used these spaces long ago. Some carved out additional chambers, expanding natural caves into elaborate underground dwellings. These weren't just shelters. They were homes, cool and comfortable, with stable temperatures that made daily life bearable. The air in these chambers often feels different, not just cooler, but heavier, more substantial. There's a dampness sometimes, a slight humidity that seems impossible in the desert above. In some caves, water still seeps through rock, creating tiny pools or damp patches where the memory of ancient aquifers still lingers. Exploring these underground spaces is like entering a different world. The harsh, bright desert disappears. Cool darkness envelops you. The silence deepens. And you understand viscerally why people chose to live this way, not out of desperation, but out of wisdom. The desert teaches adaptation, and sometimes adaptation means going down instead of staying on the surface. The desert sky has its own rhythm. There's a pattern to Sahara skies that becomes clear once you spend time watching. It's not just the progression from day to night. It's subtler than that, a rhythm that pulses through color, light, and atmosphere in ways that affect everything beneath it. Morning skies are often clearest. The air is still cool, dust hasn't been stirred up yet, and visibility stretches to the horizon. The blue is deep and pure. This is when the desert shows its sharpest face, every detail visible, every distance measurable. As the day heats up, the atmosphere changes. The air begins to shimmer. Dust rises. The sky loses its deep blue, becoming paler, almost white near the horizon. This is the sky of midday, washed out and fierce, when the sun rules absolutely and the desert shows its harshest character. Afternoon brings a slow shift. The light begins to angle, and with it, the atmosphere seems to thicken. Colors deepen. The sky graduates from pale overhead to golden near the horizon. Dust suspended in the air catches light, creating layers of haze that make distant features seem to float. Then comes evening, and the sky performs. It's not just sunset, it's a transformation. The entire dome of sky becomes a canvas, with colors bleeding into each other, shifting minute by minute. This is when the desert breathes out, releasing the day's heat into the cooling air, and the sky responds with light. Night is different again. The sky clears, deepens, becomes infinite. This is the desert's true sky, unmasked, showing itself fully. And the rhythm completes, ready to begin again with the next dawn. This daily cycle never varies in its sequence, but never repeats exactly. The desert sky is both predictable and endlessly surprising. A timekeeper and an artist, marking the passage of days while making each one unique. Erosion creates natural sculptures, wind and sand are artists, and the Sahara is their gallery. Over thousands or millions of years, these forces sculpt rock into shapes that seem almost impossible, as if carved by intelligent hands rather than blind natural processes. Rock formations in the desert can take fantastical forms. Arches that span empty space, delicate as they seem, yet strong enough to have stood for millennia. Mushroom-shaped rocks balanced on thin stems, worn away at the base faster than the top because wind-blown sand is most abrasive near ground level. Pillars, towers, and windows carved into cliff faces. Some formations look like animals, faces, or objects. This isn't intentional, of course. It's pareidolia, our pattern-seeking brains finding familiar shapes in random forms. But the effect is striking. A formation might look like a camel, a seated figure, a ship sailing through sand. The process of erosion is relentless but slow. Wind-carrying sand particles acts like sandpaper, gradually wearing away softer rock while leaving harder layers intact. Different rock types erode at different rates, creating layered striped effects or undercutting that makes formations top-heavy. Temperature changes contribute too. In the desert, rocks can heat to extreme temperatures during the day and cool rapidly at night. This expansion and contraction causes stress fractures. Over time, pieces flake off, a process called thermal weathering. The rock essentially breaks itself apart. Walking through areas rich in these formations feels like wandering through an outdoor sculpture park. The shapes draw the eye, create focal points in the vast emptiness. They provide landmarks for navigation and shelter for the occasional animal or person seeking shade. They make the desert not just vast, but interesting, textured, full of details to discover. Nature is an obsessive sculptor, working grain by grain, degree by degree, never stopping, never satisfied, always carving. Certain times of day make the desert navigable for travelers. The time of day matters immensely in the Sahara. The desert's character changes hour by hour, and knowing when to move and when to rest can mean the difference between comfortable progress and dangerous struggle. Early morning is ideal for travel. The air is cool, often the coolest it will be all day. Energy levels are high after a night's rest. Visibility is excellent, and there's time to cover good distance before the heat becomes punishing. Desert peoples traditionally began journeys before dawn, moving in the blue-black of early morning. Midday is when movement stops. The sun is directly overhead, providing no directional shadow for navigation. The heat is extreme. The glare is blinding. This is time to rest, to find shade, to conserve water and energy. Fighting the midday desert is foolish. Better to wait it out. Late afternoon offers another window for travel. The heat begins to ease, shadows return, and you can use the afternoon sun for direction. But this window is shorter. You need to find a camping spot before darkness falls completely. Night travel is possible when the moon is bright. In fact, some desert peoples preferred it, using stars for navigation, moving through cool darkness, resting during the punishing day. But night brings its own dangers, difficulty seeing obstacles, disorientation, and the cold. The desert enforces its own schedule. You can fight it, but you'll lose. Or you can accept it, move with it, and find that the desert becomes, if not easy, at least manageable. The rhythm is there. You just have to find it and match your pace to its pulse. Ancient peoples left messages in stone cairns across the Sahara, in seemingly random locations. You'll sometimes find carefully stacked piles of stones. These aren't natural formations. They're cairns, built by human hands, left as messages for those who would come after. Some cairns mark routes across featureless terrain. Ancient travelers would place them at intervals, creating a trail of stone markers that could guide others safely through difficult passages or toward water. These cairns are navigational tools. Desert road signs built before roads existed. Others mark grave sites or sacred locations. A pile of stones might indicate where someone died. a memorial placed by their traveling companions, or it might mark a spot considered holy, special, or significant for reasons known to the people who built it. Some cairns are simply greetings, a way of saying, "I was here." In the vast emptiness of the desert, these small structures become incredibly meaningful. They're proof of human presence, evidence that you're not the first to pass this way, that others have survived and continued on. The tradition continues today. Modern travelers sometimes add stones to existing cairns or build new ones. It's a way of participating in an ancient conversation, adding your voice to thousands of years of silent dialogue conducted in stone. These cairns endure because stone lasts in the desert. Wind might topple them eventually, or sand might bury them, but more often they stand for decades or centuries, patient messengers waiting for someone to read what they have to say. Temperature extremes preserve unlikely things. The Sahara's extreme dryness and temperature swings create unusual preservation conditions. Things that would decay rapidly in humid environments can last for years, decades, or even centuries in the desert. Leather, for example, doesn't rot in the extreme dryness. Items made from animal hides can persist far longer than expected. Wood, which would be consumed by termites and rot elsewhere, can survive intact. Metal corrodes more slowly without moisture. Even paper and fabric, surprisingly, can endure if protected from direct wind and sand abrasion. This preservation has archaeological significance. Ancient artifacts that would have vanished long ago in other climates survive in the Sahara, providing invaluable information about past peoples and their lives. Tools, clothing fragments, wooden implements, even organic remains can persist, but the preservation is selective and fragile. Items must be buried or sheltered to survive. Anything exposed to wind and sand gets abraded away, and the extreme temperature swings, expansion and contraction, freezing and baking, can cause mechanical breakdown, even without biological decay. Still, the desert is kinder to artifacts than most environments. It holds onto things, keeps them, maintains them in a kind of suspended state. Walking through the Sahara is sometimes like walking through a museum with no roof, where history lies scattered on the surface, waiting to be found. The preservation works both ways too. The desert will preserve what you leave behind. This is why desert conservation is so important. Trash doesn't disappear here. Tire tracks can last for decades. Damage persists. The desert remembers, holding onto evidence of both ancient passage and modern carelessness with equal stubbornness. Certain plants bloom only once in a lifetime. Some Saharan plants take patience to an extreme that seems almost absurd. They can live for decades, growing slowly, conserving resources, looking dead or dormant. And then, when conditions are finally perfect, they bloom once, produce seeds, and die. These plants are gambling everything on a single reproductive event. They wait, sometimes for 20 or 30 years, until the perfect storm of temperature, moisture, and timing arrives. When it does, they pour all their stored energy into flowering and seed production. The desert briefly fills with color, with flowers that seem impossibly vibrant against the sand. After blooming, the plant dies, but its seeds scatter, each containing the genetic blueprint for the same patient strategy. Most will lie dormant, waiting for their own perfect moment. Some may wait decades, others might never germinate at all. This strategy seems wasteful, but in the desert, it makes sense. There's no point in repeated small attempts at reproduction when conditions are hostile. Better to wait, to endure, and to make one spectacular effort when the timing is right. Watching one of these plants bloom, knowing you're witnessing an event that happens maybe 3 or 4 times in a human lifetime, is profoundly moving. It's a reminder that life operates on many timescales, and that patience, even extreme patience, is a valid survival strategy. The desert teaches this lesson over and over. Don't rush, wait for the right moment, and when that moment comes, give it everything you have. Wind patterns create invisible highways. The wind in the Sahara doesn't blow randomly. It follows patterns, both daily and seasonal, creating invisible highways of air movement that shape everything from dune formation to animal migration to human travel routes. Daily wind patterns are driven by temperature. As the sun heats the sand, hot air rises, creating low pressure. Cooler air rushes in to replace it, creating wind. These thermal winds tend to blow in consistent directions at specific times of day, creating predictable patterns that experienced travelers learn to anticipate. Seasonal winds are larger scale and even more important. The harmattan, a dry, dusty wind that blows from the Sahara toward the Atlantic coast of West Africa, dominates winter months. Summer brings different patterns as monsoon systems shift. These seasonal winds can persist for weeks or months, driving massive sand movements and affecting weather patterns across Africa and beyond. These wind highways are visible if you know how to look. Dune orientation shows prevailing wind direction. Certain plants and animals position themselves to take advantage of or shelter from dominant winds. Rock formations are sculpted asymmetrically, showing which direction wind typically comes from. For modern meteorologists, understanding these patterns is crucial. Saharan dust plumes follow specific atmospheric highways across the Atlantic. Weather systems are channeled by larger wind patterns. Climate models must account for these regular flows of air. But you don't need instruments to feel these patterns. Spend enough time in the desert, and you begin to know the wind. You feel when it shifts. You notice when patterns break. The wind becomes not just weather, but a presence, a constant companion. Sometimes harsh, sometimes gentle, but always there, always moving, always shaping the world around it. The horizon plays tricks with distance. One of the most disorienting aspects of the Sahara is how distance becomes ambiguous. In the clear, dry air, visibility is extreme. You can see for miles, dozens of miles on a clear day. Mountains that are hours or days away look like they're just over the next dune. This clarity is deceptive. Without familiar reference points, trees, buildings, anything to provide scale, your brain struggles to judge distance accurately. That rock formation might be a mile away or 10 miles. That figure on the horizon could be a person nearby or a boulder far away. The atmosphere adds to the confusion. Heat, shimmer distorts the view. Mirages create false images. Dust in the air can make distant features seem closer or farther than they are. Light refraction bends images, making objects appear to float or waver. This distance confusion has serious implications. Travelers have walked toward visible landmarks for days, only to find they're still far away. Water sources that look close remain frustratingly out of reach. It's easy to underestimate how long a journey will take. Desert peoples learn to compensate. They use their knowledge of terrain, recognizing specific features and knowing their actual distances. They understand how the atmosphere distorts view. They don't trust their eyes alone, but combine visual information with experience and memory. For newcomers, the lesson is humbling. Your senses, usually reliable, become untrustworthy. The desert forces you to recalibrate your perception, to learn to see in a new way. Distance isn't what it appears. Space stretches and contracts, and what seems obvious is often wrong. It's another way the desert teaches humility. You think you understand space and distance? The Sahara smiles and shows you how little you really know. The desert is always teaching, always testing, always true. If you spend enough time learning about the Sahara, a pattern emerges. The desert doesn't lie. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's harsh when it's harsh, beautiful when it's beautiful, dangerous when it's dangerous, and peaceful when it's peaceful. There's something restful about this honesty. The desert doesn't try to comfort you with false promises. It doesn't whisper that things will be easy when they won't. It simply is, presenting itself with complete transparency. What you see is what you get. This truthfulness extends to everything. Water is precious because it actually is scarce. Heat is serious because it truly can kill. Distance matters because it really takes time and energy to cross. The rules are clear. Follow them and you might thrive. Ignore them and you'll suffer. Simple cause and effect. Humans, with our complicated social structures and comforting fictions, sometimes find this difficult. We're used to cushioning, to buffer zones between action and consequence. The desert offers no such cushion. Your choices have direct results. The feedback is immediate and honest. But in this honesty, there's freedom. You know where you stand. You understand the challenges. And when you succeed, when you find water, when you complete a crossing, when you survive a storm, you know it was real. The desert doesn't give participation trophies. Its rewards are earned. So perhaps that's the final gift the Sahara offers. Not comfort, not ease, but truth. Harsh truth sometimes, uncomfortable truth, but always truth. And in a world that often feels confusing and ambiguous, there's something deeply valuable about a place that never pretends, never deceives, and never offers anything but its genuine self. And so our journey through the Sahara comes to a gentle close. We've traveled through facts and stories, through sand and time, through heat and cold, and the vast spaces in between. The desert, in all its harsh beauty and surprising life, has shared some of its secrets with us tonight. Perhaps your eyelids are heavy now. Perhaps your thoughts have slowed and softened, drifting like sand on an evening breeze. Or perhaps you're simply more curious, more aware of how remarkable this planet is, how even in its most extreme places, there is beauty, complexity, and endless wonder. The Sahara will continue, as it has for millions of years. The wind will blow, the sand will shift, the stars will wheel overhead. Life will adapt, endure, and persist. And the great golden heart of the desert will beat on, patient and eternal, waiting for the next traveler to come and learn its lessons. Thank you for joining this slow drift through the world's greatest desert. May your rest be deep, your dreams be peaceful, and your tomorrow be filled with wonder. Until next time, sleep well.